everyone. Okay, happy Tuesday. One hour was good today, so I can't complain. There was movement, which I like. Okay. So, Kyle and Claire. Kyle, I feel bad for because it is clear that they are not putting them together. I guess it's going to be one of their trials because I have a theory, and I've always had a theory for as long as I've been watching soap operas, which is a long time. Okay. When they have a couple and they're young and or they like them, they're gonna end up together. But in the middle of it, they're gonna have trials and tribulations, and they're gonna have times when you think they're gonna be done. And I mean done. Okay. This is the case of Kyle and Claire because I kind of now looking back on it, I kind of figure because their relationship was a little too easy. Okay, that might sound contradictory to you, and you say, okay, but don't you want a relationship to be easy? Yes and no. Because if you don't know you have to work for a relationship, you're more apt to take it for granted because you think it's always going to be there. You think the person's going to be there. You think it's not going to change all the things, right? Okay. So that might be that. But also, um, just on the television side and the soap opera side, um, and I've talked about this a little bit before, so I'm gonna try not to belabor it, but it's true. Okay, they're in the business of making money. They're in the business of making money from their sponsors. If they don't get eyeballs on the screen, they don't make as much money. And also, if they don't have good storylines that people want to tune in for, they're not going to make that much money. So you can't have a couple be happy all the time. I mean, like, okay, here's an example in the same show, which is what I'm trying to do now because I do um, cross pollinate my examples, but I'm gonna use one from YNR here. Okay, Victor and Nikki. The reason I chose them is because they are the king and queen of daytime, pretty much. Because YNR started before Bold and Beautiful, so that's why I say that. Okay, the reason I can use them as an example is because they're married now. However, they went through so many trials and tribulations, it's not even funny. I can't even tell you how many times we've been married and divorced. These two people married and divorced several times. Not because of different reasons and yada 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 and but trials and tribulations. So Claire and Kyle might be going down that because they are not going to save this relationship. If they do save the relationship, it's going to be divine intervention. Because that poor boy has tried everything and Claire is not taking it. But we got to see Claire's side a little bit today because here's the thing too though. I think two things are going on at the same time. Maybe three. Okay, along with them having trials and tribulations, they're also Kim testing Holden and Claire. And the way you do that is that you put them in more and more situations and see if they gel. Okay. But also, um, you know, you're making it really hard for Kyle to make any kind of movement because every time you think it's going to go good, something happens. Claire learns something. Claire changes her opinion of him, you know, and so it goes round and round and round and round and round. And it's like, okay, on the one hand, I get it. But on the other hand, it's like, are you going to give him a break or not? Okay, I'm leaning toward not because Holden happens to show up again. And he happens to offer Claire to go to Los Angeles with him. So not only does this man want to be with her, and he lets her know it every time they talk, but also now he's given her a chance to be 3,000 miles away from the other person. Well, assuming that you believe that they're in Wisconsin and she's going to go to California. Okay. So, yeah, not looking too good for Kyle. But Kyle, like I said, I feel bad for him, but there's nothing he can really do because once you pulled out all the stops and the other person has said no, I mean, there's not too much. You can just wait and relax as much as possible. Okay. But also, I don't think he's taking it well because he happens, quote unquote, to see Audra and Sally talking together, and he just can't help himself but put his 2 cents in. His 2 cents are, well, whatever happened with your company is probably for the best because I found out in my own way that working with this one leads to nothing but trouble. And Audra's like, oh wow. Yeah, uh, so there's that. Okay. But also, today they did a good thing because I like it when they do this because you get to see both sides of the perspective. Kyle happened to walk in when Victoria was sitting there and they happened to have a chat. A long, episode long chat. And then Claire Claire bumped into Holden. So you get to see his perspective and her perspective. And the other story was how Audra and Sally are going to deal with the fallout from Abbott Communication. But uh, Audra, I've given her a lot of flack. I know I have. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Okay, I separate the actor from the character. So I love Zuleika Silver, but Audra needs some work. But maybe they're working on redeeming her because given all the situations she's been in the past like month, okay, she could be really bad to everybody, be pissed off, and go from that frame of mind. But besides everything, she's still best friends with Sally, and she still wants the best for her because she says, "Why? What happened with Abbott Communication? I thought it was a go, and all this stuff." And Sally says, "I'm so sorry. I know we're a team here. I should have told you, but I thought we could work it out." So I'm like, okay. And then she says, and then Audra says, well, did Kyle pull out his money because of our past or whatever? So if you want me to leave, I'll just leave. And I'm like, whoa, Audra doing something for somebody else. I've never seen this before. I mean, unless Audra is going to get something in the end, that's why she does stuff. The altruistic, I don't think her character has too much of an altruistic bone in her body because it's always, how's it going to benefit me? So to see her willing to give up a job when she doesn't have any or any prospects for that matter is huge. So maybe this might change my perspective on Audra. I don't know. It's going to take a couple of weeks because, okay, I add everything up and like I think of everyone as a puzzle, okay? And for everything I know about her, she's all about herself, self centered, and all this stuff, right? But maybe this is a turning point, but I'm going to need more pieces in the puzzle to definitely say one way or the other. But then again, she might turn into one of those characters that you can never truly figure out what their motive is. And the point is to keep you guessing the whole time. So it could be that too. Okay. Bye, everybody.